Okay, first off, we've been getting, as you can imagine, flooded with people having questions about unemployment. People continue to have issues with phone lines. What are you doing to address this, and will more lines be added so people can speak to more employees?
Yeah, absolutely. We are very well aware of the concerns that are happening around our phone system. And so to let you know what our current phone situation looks like, the call center for unemployment insurance is actually set up on the state's phone system. It's a really old system, has been around since the 90s, maybe even earlier, longer than that. And so it's never been equipped to handle the volume that we're currently experiencing. And in fact, there's so many calls coming into DETR, to the department, that we've actually had to throttle these calls so that the rest of the state can continue to do their business. So we are quickly working on not only building capacity for phones, but also building capacity with staffing. We have contracted with a company called 8x8, and they're a cloud-based phone company who over the next month and then some, will be helping to stand up a call center that will be separate and apart from the existing state phone system. And basically what that will allow for is scale. We'll be able to scale to the volume of calls that we're currently receiving. And while we do and build in that technology, we'll also be staffing up with state employees who are going to be able to answer these calls.
Do you know when, maybe when we can see that increase, when you'll be able to meet that demand? Is there maybe a timeline for that?
Well, we're starting to do some testing even as early as this week, but I can't give any kind of hard dates because it is a pretty complex implement. So we're hoping to see something within the first 30 days.
Okay. So we've done a number of stories on DETR and the increase in staff and hours that have happened to keep up with the demand of the number of claims. Is there still a need for more staff and more hours?
Absolutely. And that's something I've been working on the first 4 days here on the job. And let me tell you a little bit about, to put it into perspective. Before coronavirus, the Department of Unemployment Insurance was receiving about 10,000 claims a month. We are currently averaging 10,000 a day, which means that we're getting basically a month's worth of work every single day. And so what that really means for staffing up, we were staffed at a level that was accommodating one of the best economies that Nevada's experienced. And suddenly, almost overnight for everybody, we have to staff to the capacity that's needed for one of the worst economies the state has ever seen. So it is a dramatic shift for everybody, including us, and we are continuing to add to the role of people who are answering calls, adjudicating claims, and assisting with appeals.
So a number of people, viewers, have contacted us about getting their debit cards, but there's no money on it. Is there something is that normal, or is this something that's going to be expedited so people can get the money quicker?
I think that's a really good question. The way that DETR works is this: as soon as you file a satisfactory claim, not an approved claim, you filed all your information, our process is to send you a debit card so that as soon as you get approved, that your money will be available to you on that debit card. So for individuals who may have received their debit card, there's a lot of reasons why they may not have the funds, but probably it's because there's an issue with their claim. That means that because of state and federal law, the DETR folks have to adjudicate their claim. And that takes some time.
Is in an ideal world, what's the timeline you think should take for someone to get that money on the debit card, or is everyone's situation different?
Every situation is different, and so it's kind of hard for me to say. If you want me to try to get you a pre-coronavirus timeline for what those claims adjudications look like, I could try to do that. I don't know that because, of course, I'm just 4 days in.
Okay. Another issue many people have been having, and I've talked to several of our viewers about, is the password reset on the website. And I know that there was some website updates being done. Where are we with that situation?
The password reset should be a fully self-serve automated functionality now. So if you're going to the website and you click on the link that says forget your password, we have put in an enormous effort to make sure that people are getting an automated self-heal on that password.
And so when was that updated? Do you know by chance?
This has been more than 2 weeks. It was prior to me coming on. Yeah.
What is the status for gig workers being able to file? When will they be able to file? I know that CARES Act has to do with this. Do you know the status of that?
Yes. So that is one of our top priorities. It's one of the first things I got involved in, and we are actively working on deploying a new technology that will be outside of our unemployment insurance technology or eligibility system. And we hope to have that set up to accept claims by mid-May. So within the next week or so, yeah.
So next week or so for gig workers. So is that something that we can, I don't want to say promise people, but I mean, a lot of people are out there without money right now. And is it maybe if they can hang on for another week? Is that sort of what you're saying?
Well, I want to be careful about any, first of all, promises, but I can tell you that I know that our tech team is involved up to 6 meetings a day with the vendor, and we're actively working on and on track to at least accept claims by the middle of next week. And we're trying to get a date of how quickly we can also then connect people to the funds. So it will take some time, and it is a massive undertaking. I'll also just say that many other states have not yet deployed, and so Nevada is sort of ahead of the curve where that is concerned.
Okay. So the mayor of Las Vegas and a number of legislatures say they've been constantly getting calls from people who don't know what to do because they can't get through to DETR and they can't get their benefits and they have nowhere to turn. Mayor just yesterday says wants to see more done on the state level. Any reaction to that?
You know, I think that despite the fact that we have processed a historic number of claims, we share in that frustration, and that is precisely what we're working tirelessly on day in and day out with teams on the ground, our policy team, our tech team, working round the clock, trying to find solutions to connect people to their benefits as quickly as possible. But I also want to note that there are state and federal regulations that prevent the department from connecting people to their benefits without having that adjudication process. So we're trying to think very creatively around that and doing some really good work to expedite that.
Another question is about back pay. I know that people will be getting back pay for when they initially filed.
Mm-hmm.
How will that work for gig workers, though?
The good news for gig workers is that the CARES Act is even more generous. So you'll, of course, be backdated. You'll be paid to your back date of the eligible dates. So, excuse me, let me say that again. You will be eligible for backdated pay to the date of your eligibility. And for this pandemic unemployment assistance or the 1099 gig worker benefit package, that date goes all the way back to January 27th.
Oh, okay. So for people who are trying to file and they're having some, they call, what do you recommend them to do? Because I know it's difficult for someone obviously at home and they can't get through to make their file. They're having issues. They don't have money. What do you recommend? Do you recommend just keep calling? I mean, like the mayor even quoted yesterday, someone called 7,000 times. I find that hard. I mean, that's unbelievable, but I mean, sure that people have done it. What do you recommend for people?
I do recommend trying to do as much as you can in terms of using your portal to understand where your benefits are. There are some really good guidance that are available on DETR's webpage about what the status means when your claim is being held and what necessary material we're looking for. But please also be patient and know that we are doing our best to call people back. Leave a message and we will call you back. It's just taking us some time because of the volume.
You said 10,000 a day you guys are getting?
That's claims. Yeah, calls is beyond that. Yeah.
I guess So far, I mean, this is your first week on the job. I mean, how has it been? I mean,
Here,
I'm
our
sorry?
connection, our internet connection was just unstable. So now I can hear you now, but I couldn't just a minute ago.
No problem. I was just kind of wondering, taking over this new role, what are you hopeful for? What are you hoping that you can do and to make this situation better?
I think that what my goals are is to manage the immediate crisis and try to find solutions within the current infrastructure and within our current binds with law, and then be creative about solutions for that. But I also want to think long term, and that's why we're thinking about scalable technology, scalable phone centers, so that we really don't find ourselves in this situation again.
So you guys said you're starting to work on that second phone bank right now, right?
Yes, yes.
And how many, do you know how many phones there are originally and how many more will be added?
I do not know that number. No.
Okay. I'm trying to think about any of the questions here, but I think we got through the stuff we discussed. I guess any last things you'd like to say for people out there here in Nevada, a lot of people having issues with unemployment? Anything you'd like to say?
I think it's really important to remember that, you think about grocery store workers being heroes because they're coming to work every day, and the staff that are working for the department are showing up to our offices every day with their same concerns about getting sick, and they're doing that because they know how important it is to process your claims. So please treat them with kindness and please be patient with them. We are working as hard and as fast as we can.
I'm just kind of curious, how many people are filing they're working every day going through these claims?
I don't have that number off the top of my head, and so I could follow up with you if you send me an email.
No problem. I was just kind of curious because I'm sure it's like a lot of busy people in there. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to work with me here and to do this interview.